10 years ago, I was asked to go to Portland, Maine to speak on Christian community spiritual formation in the kingdom of God. I spoke to 240 people, and then they gave them the opportunity to ask me questions after. But in the question answer time, no one wanted to speak about those topics. What everybody wanted to speak about was, why is our church dying? That led me into a bit of a journey where I began to do more work in denominations and with churches, and I found that over and over again, through consulting and through coaching, when I would get a moment alone with a leader, I would often hear this same whispered complaint: why didn't seminary prepare me for this? So in 1805, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark had been sent by Thomas Jefferson to find a water route from St. Louis, Missouri to the Pacific Ocean, a water route that everybody thought was there. They had spent the winter with the Mandan tribe, who told them that they could find their way to the Pacific Ocean, but they would have to climb over some mountains. What they thought were Appalachian Mountains. What they found were the Rocky Mountains. And so when they got there, they realized that a 300-year-old dream, finding a water route that would connect one side of the country to the other, was gone. And in many ways, this is where Christian pastors find themselves. We have been prepared to be canoers. We have been trained and been equipped to become people who are really good with water routes. But what happens when there is no water route? What happens when you climb up over the top of a ridge, expect to see another river, begin to think you're going to go downstream and it's going to get easier, and you find that exactly at the moment in your career when you hit a level of leadership, you have to change everything. So most pastors, for example, were trained for preaching and liturgics, pastoral care programs. Programs that assumed that there would be lots of people who would line up to fill them. VBSs that would be filled, Sunday school classes that would be filled, just needing someone to teach them well. Well, what happens when all of a sudden preaching, program, pastoral care are not enough because the culture's changed so dramatically that people aren't just showing up? What happens when you've been trained to be someone who will take a congregation down a great river and just point out the sights along the way, and all of a sudden you realize that you've got to tell them they've got to drop the canoes and they're now an expeditionary force that needs to go over a mountain, and even your congregation didn't sign up for this? What happens is it requires pastors and other Christian leaders to have a different kind of leadership than they were prepared for. Not just programmatic, not just preaching, not just liturgy or pastoral care, though those things are important, but also how do you actually lead a group of people to change, to grow, to look to their neighborhoods and look beyond themselves and become something different than they even expected to be, so that they can fulfill the mission that God has them there for. So this book is about what it takes to canoe over mountains when you run out of water and when you enter into uncharted territory, into a new place that you're not prepared for.